Hi, I'm Zach Chamberlain, and I work for the Michigan Department of Environment, Great Lakes and Energy, or EGLE, Water Resources Division. One of our many jobs here at EGLE is the protection of Michigan's critical dune areas. EGLE regulates activities in these areas to balance preservation of the dunes with development. One of the unique features of the dunes are steep slopes steeper than 1 on 3 or 1 on 4. In this video, we'll provide an overview of how EGLE staff determine the steepness of slopes when reviewing a permit application in the critical dune area.
Let's prepare our equipment. EGLE staff use a clinometer and two 4-foot range poles. You'll also want to have writing materials and appropriate gear like hiking boots and clothing to protect you from poison ivy and ticks. It's also important to decontaminate all gear to prevent the spread of invasive species. Before we start taking any measurements, review the entire slope from all directions. Take the time to walk around and observe the location of major features like the top and bottom, any slope breaks, which is a point where the steepness of the slope changes, and identify whether or not the slope is part of a larger dune or an isolated feature. Once you've identified all major features, draw a sketch of the slope's cross-section to record your measurements on. The clinometers we use measure slopes in 2 units, degrees or in percentages. For permitting purposes, we use percent. You'll see both the degrees and the percent when using the clinometer. Make sure you're reading the percent side, usually on the right. If you're not sure, take the clinometer and look straight up. The unit of each side will be labeled at the bottom of the scale. Let's start measuring slopes. Begin by placing a range pole at the toe of the slope. Place the other at the next slope break up. Be cautious as you walk up the steep slope not to crush or damage the sensitive dune vegetation. Return to the range pole at the toe of the slope. Crouching at its side, place the clinometer with the sight aligned with the top of the range pole. Keeping both eyes open, look both alongside and inside the clinometer. Inside the clinometer, you'll see a horizontal sighting line that intersects with the measurement scale to make a T. This may feel awkward at first, but with practice, it will become easier to look at different things with either eye. With both eyes open, rotate the clinometer up until the sight line is even with the top of the upper range pole. While rotating the clinometer, be sure to hold the middle of the device even with the top of the pole. You can use your ring finger to help hold the clinometer steady. Once the sight line is even with the top of the other pole, hold steady to allow the scale to stop moving. Using the eye that is looking inside the clinometer, observe the percentage of the slope and record your measurement. Continue measuring slopes between each slope break until you've measured the entire feature of interest. If the slope has multiple faces or multiple slopes in different directions, be sure to measure all of these features. Do not skip slope breaks and measure the entire slope at one time, as this will result in an inaccurate measurement. Sometimes when measuring slopes, you may be unsure of your measurement. In other cases, the percentage may be close to an important regulatory boundary like 25 or 33%. These situations happen, and it's okay to adjust your poles and take another measurement. Just be sure to record all of your data. You may want to document these areas through photographs or by taking GPS measurements. You may be wondering why we care so much about steep slopes. The Dune Law places special protections on these areas as they are at a higher risk of slope failure and erosion when disturbed. Additionally, these steep areas create unique habitats for plants and animals and support the diversity, qualities, and functions of the critical dune area.
If you're planning a project in the critical dune areas, you can learn more about the permitting process at www.michigan.gov/criticaldunes.